You know, say, last week we play a tape by a white man. Well, him attack as a white man. And, me then I'm in the hotel room asleep and people call me 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey. And the man will call me 3 o'clock in the morning and I go believe some Muta Baruch when them here on the radio and a pure clot and more clot, you know, because I don't know how man listen to me till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I call me 3 o'clock in the morning and I say, Muta, the tape I play, I wait there. The man them can't wait till like 8, 10 o'clock and call me. Me not there now. Me come back the next day. I'm going to play it the next day to still know. But you know, you going to do now. I'm going to play it again. I'm going to play the part 2. Where we never play. You understand? So I'm going to play the part 1 when we play last week. Where all the people asked them to play again. And then we're going to play the part 2 when we never play. So here's part 1 when we play already.
Hi, my name is Stan. And I've been watching the Black Power community for the last 100 years. I just noticed that you guys have been having some problems figuring out what to do about me. You see, I'm a cracker. Yeah. The white man. The guy that has been running the whole world for the last 2,000 years. Well, the reason that I stopped by to speak with you today is to help. I've been watching you guys fight over gaining real black power, and thought I would give you a few pointers. Since we white guys have been running things since we invaded Africa, I figured I would lay out a blueprint to help you achieve your objectives. Might as well use a plan that works, right? Besides, it beats the backward, no progress, mistake repeating methods you people have been trying for the last 400 years. So I knew all of you needed some help. Especially, after Barack Obama got into office. He's a great guy, but a black man in a white man's house ain't really saying much considering all the hell you people have been through. Don't get me wrong. In many ways I know you were happy to get at least one black into office. This is good when you want to run politics, but ruling the world is what we white folks specialize in. Have you ever heard of the Illuminati? Well, that is the kind of coordination you are going to need to begin taking over the world. Okay, let's get started. Today, I am going to give you 3 things that we did to take over the world. You can use these too, and begin to gain real black power. Number 1. The first step to taking over the world is unity. I know you have heard of this before, but black people seem to really struggle with this one. You just don't seem to get it. You would rather fight against each other, instead of your enemies. This is bad business and you will never get true freedom doing things this way. Instead, do what we did to gain power. We divided and conquered entire countries based on their differences, while holding true to our similarities. I am white. There is no changing that. My God-born tendency is to preserve my own. Nothing is racist about that. It is just common sense. You people are the stupid ones, going around trying to love everybody, but yourselves. And you still go around talking about Jesus loves everyone. While you've been doing all the praying and jumping around, we have been buying up the world and making laws you have to abide by. No offense, but everyone else has unity but you. I mean, look at the business in your neighborhoods. The people that control it don't even look like you. In fact, everyone who comes to this country sets up a business in the black community. The Koreans, the Indians, the Chinese. The list goes on and on. Aren't you tired of letting these other people supply all of your food, nails, and weaves? The one thing they have that you don't is unity. Number 2. Once you get unity, you are going to need to get organized. When we took over the world we had a plan in place. A goal. Since we whites make up a small percentage of the global population, we knew the only way for us to exist was to enslave non-white people. This was our global plan for white supremacy. But we didn't stop there. We organized a military force behind our goal and executed it to perfection. Killing men, women, and children across the globe with brute force. Whatever we needed, we just took it. And if blacks or Native Americans didn't like it, oh well. Remember, there are no rules in war. Our objective is to ensure survival. But you black people seem to think your economic hardships, social injustices, and high arrest rates just happened by chance alone. Never mind, we've worked nearly 4 centuries, day and night to keep you people exactly where we want you. On the plantation. Yeah. It's true. Let me tell you a little secret. Most white people are not going to tell you this. It's an old family secret we have kept pretty quiet about. And for a good reason. You see, all that free labor my white ancestors got from your black ancestors, translated into a lot of money. In fact, the black slave trade was the greatest wealth-building tool in human history. With free labor we were able to finance the Industrial Revolution. Well, all of that money pretty much stayed in the vast majority of white families. And with all due respect, whites intend to keep it that way. You see, Dr. Martin Luther King was pretty good at integrating lunch counters and toilets. However, he didn't do so well at integrating bank accounts. So you blacks were shafted out of the money that was due to you in exchange for a good job and education. But it was us whites who owned most of the jobs. Which brings me to my point. It's just another plantation. I say all of that to say, being organized is more than alignment. It is knowing the traps we have laid out for you, and then moving around them. Everybody knows but you blacks. That education will only keep you enslaved. It will only produce what it has already produced. A bunch of dressed-up plantation workers perfectly content, working and serving under another man's vision. You don't really think we are going to teach you to build a nation for yourselves, do you? If you were really educated you would be able to solve your own problems. Problems like gang violence, poor economics and underrepresentation. Instead, you will continue to pass the notion of getting a good job down to your children. This will brainwash them to be just like you. And the cycle will repeat for generations. While we whites continue to run things at the top, your grandchildren will be celebrating the first black Catholic Pope. I know this has been long, so let's move to number 3. The third way to gain black power is the most important of all. It is this way because it deals more with your psychology than your conscious mind. When we took over the world we decided to use the most dangerous weapon of all to subjugate the darker peoples of the planet. We used a combination of white supremacy and religion to talk these people into complete submission. If a robber breaks into your house, rapes your family, kills your mother and father, then tells you that in order to go to heaven, you have to worship as God. If someone did that to me, then said that to be born again, I had to worship as God, I'd kill the bastard right on the spot. But you black people seem to have no problem worshipping the God of your enemies. Even worse is the fact that for all the praying that you have done, it seems like the God of the white man is just as racist as we are. Anytime you start believing in the God of your enemy, it pretty much means you're a complete Wistafarian to confront his adversary. This is a deep sickness because to believe the man who murdered your family is your friend is to believe that watermelons have gills. This kind of thinking lacks critical reasoning, a skill needed to defend territory and the minds of the youth. You even believe that Haiti, the only black nation, is cursed because many of them practice voodoo. You even go further and believe that it was God that hit Haiti with a 7.5 earthquake. You religious-minded blacks thought this about New Orleans too. Let me tell you the truth. We gave you this God because we knew by worshipping a white God you would subconsciously be worshipping us. That was a part of our plan, and it worked like a charm on the early slave plantations. We whites decided to perfect it, and have taken our gods all over the world to dark people. You see, we know that if we can get you to put down your God, and pick up ours, you will lose your real power. This is really effective for controlling a people. Practically, by doing this, you will never fight against us because subconsciously you would be fighting God. But that is why you cheer for a white Jesus to kill all the darkies down in Haiti and New Orleans. Meanwhile our harp machines can shake up more prime real estate for the oil companies. If you continue to follow the God of your enemies, you will never rule the world, because you will always have your allegiance with the white man, instead of your God, because you traded him in for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed hippie, whose name we took from the Greek god Zeus. So, let's recap. The top 3 things you need to do to rule the world, and to have black powers. Number 1, get some unity. Stop killing each other over nickel bags of weed and coke. You are basically helping to kill off your own army. Stop it and unite. Number 2, get organized. There is nothing worse than a bunch of rich rappers talking about gangsta and keeping it real, when all of them still work for rich white and Jewish men that pimp them for their talent. With Jay-Z, P. Diddy and Oprah, you black people should have your own distribution company by now, instead of relying on your white backers to put out your albums. This is because you are not organized. This goes for all you sports athletes too. You black sports guys are stupid. You're a grown man and you still have an owner. Stop being a slave and wake up. When you die, all you will have to pass on to your children is a championship ring. When I die, I will have at least 2 islands and a few manufacturing companies to extend my legacy. For you sports guys, no one will remember you, and the money you blew on trying to floss will be right back into our hands. You need to organize and put your money and minds together for one common goal: black power. Last but not least, you have to stop following the white man's God. He has really done nothing for you since you started to believe in him. Basically, all my God has done for you is allow white guys like me to continue stealing from you. Sure, we'll give you a few rich blacks to make it up the ladder. But this is to keep up hope in you, so that you will teach cowardness and fear to your children and get nothing in return. You will keep praying while we will keep slaying, and taking more land and control of the earth. It will be this way as long as you fall for the lie that some white dude is going to come down from the sky. Stop it. Instead, go back to believing in your God. The God you had when you were rich in Africa and had diamonds, gold, and health. It certainly beats the crap the white man's God has given you. Even if you believed in rocks, you would probably have more luck than what you have gotten with this guy. One last thing. Black people need to stop saying that they're blessed. This is not only dumb, but it lets us white people know that we are still very much in control. If I steal you from your home and throw you into a cardboard box, have you work for 400 years on a plantation, just because I give you a pillow, doesn't mean that you are blessed. If a guy cuts off your hand, and then turns around and gives you a bandage, it don't mean anyone blessed you. He just needs his slave to be able to work the next day. So you are not blessed just because the white man gives you a doggy treat. It simply means, so given all the crap you blacks have dealt with here in America, and abroad, a new car or money for the light bill are just tools we white folks who are trying to run a plantation do to keep up the morale. So, if going from Africa, a land of milk and honey, diamonds and resources, a place where you had a name and thousands of acres of land, to a place where you are struggling to eat in a one-bedroom apartment every day means you are blessed, then elephants have feet.
Irie FM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Muta Baruka.
Yeah, well, that was the one that we played last week, and it created the alabaloo. Everybody wanted to, well, I call me 3 o'clock in the morning. So after the advertisement, we're going to play the part 2, where we never play. Part 2. So, advertisement time. So, as we say, we played the part 1 last week, and one of people that say if we could have played forward, well, we just play the part 1 again. So now we're going to play the part we never played last week, which is part 2. Here goes.
Some guy posted my first video on YouTube, and let me tell you, things are getting hot. But don't let my white friends stop you from hearing the truth. Some of my white friends are upset, and for good reason. It's not every day you people get to see the inside secrets we whites have used for decades to dominate people of color. But don't fear. My white friends are just mad, because once you know all the secrets to gaining real black power, they will no longer be able to rule over you, because basically you blacks are the cash cow for white economics, and it has always been this way. Now, let's get back down to business. Today, I'm going to give you 3 more tips to gaining real black power. And this time I will try to keep it short. Last time we spoke about unity, religion and economics. And while these are very important to establishing black power, there are other factors, more subtle, which you will need if you were to ever rule the world again. The first is self-image and self-love. The reason why you spend so much time trying to be friends with us white people is because you really don't want to be friends with yourselves. Your issue with self-image is a psychological one, which we implanted when we gave you our religion. This weapon was very effective, because it got you black people to fall in love with our image of beauty while at the same time making you hate your own. You see, every time a little black girl watches television, she is systematically being programmed to hate herself. And this is really a crime, because that little black girl will grow up and teach her little daughter to hate herself too. These methods of mind control are called implants. They are very effective, and boy, let me tell you, if I had a dime for every black female who permed her hair, I'd be a millionaire. You black men really have to get it together. For you to perm your hair is saying to the world that nappy, kinky hair is not good enough to wear. To believe this is culturally suicidal and reinforces our white supremacy system on every level. To perm your hair as a black woman is like a shark cutting off its fin. To do this is an open declaration that you hate who you are. And everybody knows this but you. We whites look at you and quietly laugh. We can't believe how you try to suppress your own DNA and then teach it to your daughters like it is some kind of family recipe to make popsicles. This act is nothing to be proud of. You should stop it, and stop it now. I've seen little black girls as young as 5 years old with perms in their hair. This is completely niggardly and self-hating. Some of you black girls take it a step further, and wear other people's hair in your heads. How can any self-respecting people do this and keep a straight face? I mean, really. This is ridiculous. I'm sure the Koreans are lefting all the way to the bank selling you blacks other people's hair. And I'd be willing to bet that the Hindus who distribute it are getting a nice payday too. You see, under our white supremacy culture, we take your sicknesses and turn them into profit for us. We know you cannot stand your black skin either and will buy all kinds of creams and lighteners to look more like us. We've made billions of dollars on your dysfunction. This is the way we keep the money rolling in. The sad thing is you hate yourself so much, you are willing to burn your scalp and face to change it. Some I have seen cut their noses down to be more white. Michael Jackson was one of those girls who did this. I mean, guys. Whatever. You get what I am saying. It's all about not being who you really are. But worst is the fact that you can't really say you love others until you can truly love yourselves. Which is why some of your relationships with black men are so bad. He's the deep part. Some of you would diss a black guy because maybe he didn't go to church or have a good job. You would say if he does not believe in Jesus, you cannot date him. Remember, many of the images of Jesus have blonde hair and European features. So you diss the black guy for a blonde-hair white guy who's basically a ghost, and then turn around and diss yourself by bleaching and perming your hair to look like the blonde-haired white image we gave you during slavery. Long story short, you were so in love with our image you reject everything that's not us. And that's how we control you. If I saw my white girlfriend trying to put other people's hair in her head and trying to look black, I would not respect her as much as I probably should. Further, I would get her a psychological evaluation because, like a fish shaving off its scales and wearing cat fur to be more like its enemy, a black woman perming her own hair to wear other people's long stringy hair is borderline psychotic. And means the mental evaluation needs to be put in place. You black women are the mothers of all civilization, for Christ's sakes. Going around trying to reject your own birthright. If you ever want to get back on top, you are going to have to stop perming and bleaching yourselves. Teach your daughters and sons to love who they are. And stop watching Sex and the City. It's just a bunch of white women bed hopping and living a lifestyle you will never see. Spend your time teaching your little girls to love being black. Turn those skinny white bitches off and give your babies a future where black girls rule. This is a good start.
R.E.F.M. Thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Muta Baruka.
The hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. take it how you want to take it. But me I tell you, it's a serious statement by Steve Biko. And it resonates up to this day after his assassination.